I'm going to do a very unscientific, you could say non-scientific, and there is some science in it, comparison between Premiere Pro 5.5 and Final Cut 10. Of course, you're not comparing apples to oranges here. I should say apples to apples. In particular, I'm looking at this camera that I bought. It's the Panasonic HS700, and it shoots 1080p 60. Just a little bit about 1080p 60. First of all, 1080p is obviously 1920 by 1080. At 60 frames a second, that's quite a big data rate. The SD cards can handle it, but your editing systems, my editing system can't really handle it. I have, and this is the problem over here. I'm going on a tangent here, unfortunately. This is a Mac Mini. This is a cheap little computer. It has a dual-core i7 processor. It doesn't have a massive graphics card or anything. But this little machine struggles with 1080p 60 footage. It struggles with 1080p, I think, as well. The reasons can be seen in this little table over here. We have, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. I'm shooting on this little crappy $40 camera. Normally when I use Final Cut Pro 10, I go into 24p. I shoot at 720p 24. And I edit in the proxy. For those of you, this is probably not going to be very good. Let me just zoom in a bit here. For those of you who are familiar with, this is ProRes. This is the codec that we're going to convert to when we're using Final Cut Pro 10. 720p 720p 24. Look at the data rate. It's 18. And megabits per second. Was it megabytes? I don't know. Anyway, but now go down here. Say we're going to do the same thing with 1080p. Sorry, we're going to do the same thing with 1080p 60. Even in proxy, we're sitting at 91. And it's not so much, in my opinion, my struggle with 1080p 60 is not so much that it doesn't play back. It's that, you know, I think, what is 720p compared to 1080? You've got 3 times the data. So you've got 3 times the data, as in pixels, plus now you have twice the frame rate. From 24, actually you have more than twice the frame rate. So there's this order of magnitude that you have to deal with when you're dealing with 1080p 60. A Mac Mini does not cut the mustard with it. Even with 1080, I want to say that you go into Final Cut Pro and you have to do this transcoding jumpity thing, even in proxy, and it just takes forever. So, what do we say? Say hello there, Mr. Buddha. What do we say? What do people say? Oh, well, Premiere Pro, you can edit it natively. Obviously, with Premiere Pro, you need to have this magic graphics card, the Mercury engine, blah, 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 blah. But you still can edit it natively. On Final Cut 10, with importing from this camera, it does not work. There's a plugin, but the plugin's kind of crappy, so you have to use clip wrap. With Premiere Pro, as I'm going to demonstrate now, we should be able to just grab the footage and throw it straight in. And this is what I'm going to do. And there it is. There's the memory card. I'm going to import it. And here we go. Importing files. And I know that this is not a huge... You know, you really to compare the two, you should have a Mac Pro with 8 cores, and you should have a nice Mercury engine equipped 1 gig graphics card, blah blah blah. So I'm kind of comparing 2 different things here, but I have both programs, so I'm just going to see what's the easiest to edit. So there it is. Straight away I can see it, and I'm going to throw it into here, and I can probably play it back.
All right.
Alright guys, this is just a little word of warning. This is gonna There's me ranting on about some bullshit. So there you have it. I can straight away, if I was now on Final Cut Pro 10, I'd be sitting there. I mean, I had to wait, God, how long? I think my rant was 18 minutes. I waited hours and hours and hours. Oh, it is doing some conforming over there. So it's still doing some conforming. I waited hours and hours and hours, even just to be able to view the stuff. I mean, it was converting it to proxy. So this is an advantage of Premiere Pro, and many people have noted this advantage of the native AVCHD. So let's see how. Let's throw this stuff onto the timeline like I did with the other stuff, and let's see how quickly we can get it onto YouTube. For me to put this on YouTube, I mean, it literally took me, oh my God. First of all, I had to wait hours to actually be able to even scroll, what's the word? Just scroll through. Just put the playhead through the footage. And then I added a logo, which I'll do the same thing here, and a header, a title to the beginning, and it just sat there for God knows how long. So let's just do a little test. We're just using the native editing of Premiere Pro, latest version 5.5. Let me just throw some stuff on and I'll get back to you then. Okay, so I've thrown a logo on the top here. Sorry about this camera. This is a Kodak Plato. I paid $40 for this camera. It's refurbished from Kodak. It's quite an amazing little camera for $40, and it's 1080p. I'm sure it looks like crap, but anyway. So I threw this little thing over here. I threw a logo on, and as you can see, there's a big old red line showing that it's not, what's the word? It's not rendered. So that's basically what I did with the other one. I had a title in the beginning, so maybe I'll add a text title. But let's give the Premiere a little bit of an advantage by not having that title in the beginning. It was just some text thing that I could. Let me actually add a title at the beginning quickly. I figured out how to do a title. It's kind of interesting. I haven't used Premiere Pro, and I'm an expert at neither Final Cut 10 or Premiere Pro 5.5. But it's interesting how you have to go up here and you have to do. Title is like a separate title thing up there. Why the fuck, excuse my French, isn't it down over here anyway? And this is just a test. I am in the Apple camp, to tell you the truth. Just getting, everybody wants Final Cut 10 to. Everybody wants it to work. Everybody wants it to go ahead. Everybody wants it not to kind of become this little hobbyist thing. And that's the camp I'm coming from. I have both. I have both on my computer. I have CS 5.5 and I have Final Cut Pro 10. So, it's these guys who are like, dude, I love BMW, man. BMW's the way to go. Guys who say that, it's like saying, oh, I need like blonde girls with blue eyes. Why limit yourself, guys? Why limit yourself? And these are tools, and I know we have some kind of attachment to these crazy things called programs, editing programs. Just kind of bizarre. It's the tool that does the job. So let's see, this is 19 minutes long. I chose the, I don't know if this thing can do very close, it's kind of out of focus. I chose the YouTube widescreen selection, and I'm just going to do export. It says the estimated file size is, wow, is a gigabyte almost. So I'm going to export it and see what happens. Immediately export with current settings. It is taking it down. This YouTube setting takes it down to 720p 24. I guess that's what YouTube can do, right? YouTube obviously doesn't do 30p or 60p or 25p. So let's just see how long that takes. I'll get back to you when this is finished. Hopefully not too soon. I should say hopefully Final Cut Pro 10. Alright. My processors are maxed out. if I look down here in my actual sequences, so it has to conform. It obviously has to do this conforming first, and then it has to encode the sequence to the H.264 from the. I mean, it was an H.264 before, right, when it was editing it. So, yeah, the confusing thing I have, or the problem I have with Premiere Pro is if you don't have the Magic, the Mercury Engine Magic, is what do you use? What's your intermediate codec? I'm talking about the Mac now, and I know there's the Avid codec, and there's what's the other one? But I could never find a codec that would work. So I always end up with this red line. So, but let's just see. It says it's going to take an hour and 15 minutes, which is not too bad for 20 minutes of video. So I'll get back to you when this is done. Okay, we're still going here. I actually redid the. We're actually 8 minutes into this. I redid the setting because the original setting on here was, I don't know if you can see that, it was 2-pass, so, and this isn't a, I mean, this is shot in low light, and I try to think whether Final Cut 10 does 2-pass encoding on its YouTube thing. I think there's an option that wasn't selected, but anyway, it's going pretty good, considering this is 18 minutes, so double that is what, it said 36, so if it can do it in 2x, I think that's pretty damn good. Okay, we're about 99% done. 100% done. Does that mean it's done? We're only on 41 minutes, which is pretty amazing. It is 24 frames a second. It is 7 video stream bitrate is 7 megabits over here per second. So there you have it, guys. If you want to edit 1080p 60 footage with your Mac Mini, it looks like Premiere Pro is the option. Now there's still a red line down on here, so even though it's thrown it all out, it will be interesting to see how long it will take to. Let me do a render here. Those are render settings. Where is it? Sequence, render, effects, and work area. I think that's the thing I wanted to do. It would be interesting to see how long it takes to do that. It's not taking too long. So it does, and it also it's. If you look over here, it is using. Sorry, it's using a lot of my processors, which is interesting. So I don't know. It's. I think if you want to use 1080p 60 on a Mac, that's your only option. Otherwise, you're going to be dicking around, and you're going to be doing ProRes, and ProRes creates some pretty. Like I said on my little sheet over here, ProRes does create some pretty big. I mean, the bit rates of these things are 91. I mean, if you're going to use ProRes, it's 293 megabits. That's a high. I think that's a high bit rate. I think the hard drive can handle it because I have encoded in that stuff. It's just when you're doing stuff with it, everything is so big. Your little i7 dual core processor is going to struggle. And also, I'm not sure how Final Cut Pro. I'm not sure what Final Cut Pro does as far as using a graphics card. I have a this machine is this laptop here is very old, but even using this mini, which has a newer AMD, this mini is the option with this Mac Mini is the option with the higher end graphics card. I think it's the 6. Let me tell you guys what this graphics card is. And I know I'm waffling here, and this video is not very well put together, so I apologize about this Mac. It has the, I think it's a 6657 or something graphics card. Where is that damn thing? I don't know. So it's the, I have 8 gigs of RAM. I have a dual core 2.7 i7 2.7 gig. So it's not a bad machine, But I think anything 1080, you need 4 processors, full stop, whatever you're using. I think that's what you've got to do, obviously. And obviously, you have 6 cores, 8 cores, 12 cores, I'm sure. So I have the AMD Radeon, and this is not, I'm not using any Mercury engine stuff, but it is, I think it does use some OpenCL. I could be wrong here. I think it does use some of the graphics card to do some of the stuff on both Final Cut Pro 10 and Premiere Pro. If you get deep into this stuff, obviously it would be nice to, have a card with Mercury stuff. Although I've heard from some people that Mercury is not instantaneous. It's not the magic, like 10 times, 100 times quicker than people thought it was. So. Rendering 3 of 9 video previews. So this is still doing its rendering thing here. So that's interesting as well. So in summary, comparing apples to bananas, perhaps, but just my little unscientific test of Final Cut 10, and I have 10.0.3, which is the latest version, and Premiere Pro, which is the latest version. Looks like Premiere Pro is the winner when it comes to using the Panasonic 1080p 60. It is the winner. Certainly the interface on Premiere Pro, in my humble opinion, leaves much to be desired compared to Final Cut Pro 10, where the interface is just fantastic. So there we go. CS6 coming out. Who knows? I know a lot of people have jumped ship to Premiere Pro. Why jump ship? Just use both. I mean, one's $200, the other one is, whatever, if you get a package deal or whatever. So these are merely tools, and pick the best tool that's best for you. I actually rendered this whole thing, and it literally took about, God, how long did it take? A long time, like 37, 40 minutes or something to render this. So now I have a green bar. Interesting thing is, now when I go and do my file export, and I go over here to select the YouTube thing, and I did exactly what I did before, and export media. When I actually ran this thing, it said it was going to take 38 minutes to do the variable bit rate 1 pass, the exact same time as it was going to take before. So I don't understand what's going on with... I would have thought if I spent 37 minutes rendering this line, when I went to here, it would take a lot quicker. But I guess I am wrong. So this obviously means that I can play this thing now in... I mean, I could play it before when it was red, so... In order to get your phone... I don't understand what the whole point of... the whole point of having the red bar there. Maybe I can actually play this thing now in... I know there's the playback resolution bullshit stuff over here. Playback resolution, I can do half and stuff. So anyway, maybe someone could tell me what the whole... I mean, I understand the whole thing of rendering, and Final Cut Pro 10 is the whole background rendering, which still... I mean, when your computer's rendering, it kind of... that's your computer pretty much shot. So... not quite sure what's going on with this. Obviously, it's... You see, this is what confuses me. What has it rendered it to? It's green now, so it's rendered it to some kind of intermediate hidden codec somewhere, which... isn't that defeating the whole point of editing the native AVCHD? The MTS files? Anyway, maybe someone could explain that to me, but... I'm gonna actually use this program, Premiere Pro, to put this little video together. So there you have it, folks. The Premiere Pro 5.5 Final Cut Pro 10 Shootout.